When I replayed the Henry Stickmin collection this year, I came to appreciate a lot of things that I nudged off at first. The brilliant cast of characters. Now I could go into things like Henry's hilarious blank slate status, or the many great background gag characters, but there's someone I really wanted to focus on today. Ellie Rose is a character that I sort of tempered my expectations with ever since her Flash debut. I was worried that she was going to eventually fall flat, or just become sidelined by Henry. But when I actually went through the full game, all of my concerns were completely averted, and Convict Allies quickly became my favorite ending. And over time, I gained a new appreciation for Ellie. The first thing to note is that Ellie is probably the most stripped down and simple of all of Henry's possible allies, but she's also the one you learn the most about through your journey. Ellie shows a lot of consistency. She's just as competent as Henry or any of his other allies, which is nice because it puts them all on the same wavelength, leading to fails like this, but also some brilliant moments like this. Ellie also has a lot of karma revolving around her. That message at the start wasn't just being funny or making fun of Telltale. Ellie as a character changes depending on your actions, and has a lot of agency over herself. My favorite example of this being right at the end of CA, where she's willing to return a favor after you help her out yourself. While the scene is already pretty great and funny on its own, it tells you basically everything you need to know about Ellie. Ellie becomes more interesting once you get to completing the mission. She's essentially the same Ellie as before, but depending on the path you take, she's played in slightly different ways that feel very natural to the game's progression. Throughout completing the mission, she develops quietly, but you can see her growing more confident and goofy. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but I also noticed this a bit in her voice.
Thanks, I guess. Now let's get out of here.
What do you say we hit him again? I don't know about you, but I'm running pretty low on cash.
Although one of my favorite parts about her simplistic character is how she bounces off of others. Although her connection to the Top Hats is probably the weakest out of all of them, there are some interesting things to note. You can call Top Hat civil warfare whatever you want, it was certainly a thing that happened, but it's another good showcase of continuity. Ellie remembers that, and it makes sense with what she's shown. She has the know-how and ambition to escape by herself, and she has a major sense of camaraderie, which is shown at the ending of Convict Allies. It all ties up neatly, and her reaction is actually pretty justified, which is why I wish the rest of the path could have been more like this. She doesn't show herself a lot in Top Hat King, although considering how quickly she hijacked it, it makes sense how quickly she would get along with the Top Hats here. I do really like that Henry promotes her to basically an equal footing during the ending. These two have gone through so much and have every reason to trust each other around this point. Well, at least in this ending specifically. When it comes to the government, she only really meets Charles. However, the moments she does have with him are very short and sweet, and I have a good soft spot for them. It leads to probably the funniest conversation in completing the mission, at least to me.
What do you mean? Like, you're gonna jump out and smash it with your head?
Oh, no, with my helicopter. What do you guys think? I'm ready to...
Hold on, I don't really understand.
And her trying to learn about a character that Henry is just so used to at this point leads to a lot of interesting interactions in this path. But of course, the main attraction here is how she interacts with Henry. So I'll just start with the most notable thing right away regarding how direct their relationship is compared to everyone else. Characters like Charles and Right Hand Man are certainly hilarious and not without their own quirks, but they never quite get this close. I was pretty surprised that nothing gets compromised during her routes. There's a consistently shared set of options between them, and they stick together as much as they can. You can really feel the trust between them at this point. In short, I really like the way this dynamic was made. It's incredibly natural and it fits super well into the game. And also, sometimes you just have to appreciate the little things like that. I couldn't really think of anywhere else to put this, but I also really appreciate Reese B's delivery, and kinda wish we got to see more of her, aside from just Ellie. She also did pretty well with the rest of her cast, most of the time, so I guess there was a bit of missing potential, but not too much to worry about.
You! I'll see you, Henry!
That's about all I can say for Ellie. All around, she's just an incredibly well-made and natural character through and through, and I really enjoy the way the team went about performing that. I'd love to go on about this series in the future, but right now I wanted to focus on this one specific character, because I feel like something really needed to be said. She's one of the leads I hear about the least, and I just wanted to add my own take. Anyways, take care, and
In the same decks.
should have just done this from the beginning.